All right, everybody. So this is my affirmation slash vision slash manifestation board. I know that there are distinct purposes for each one of those, but for the most part, this is partly an affirmation board because a number of these things are traits that I already have, and other things are really towards manifestation. And a word of warning, word of caution, disclaimer. I'm not of the like blind, just leap of faith positivity movement. I just know that there are various tools which that movement uses that I find very useful and has worked for me in the past. This use of a board is newer to me because I've never had to use one before. My version of an affirmation manifestation practice oftentimes stemmed from me writing in a journal and me repeating those desires, those wishes to myself as an affirmation towards further manifestation going forward. This one is unique. Thanks to Marissa Louie of Designers Guild and her approach to things, I've been inspired to do my own, and I've been waiting several months until I talked to my good close friend Chris Lebedev, who was also working on one because he asked me something about this similar approach, and it was enough to really kickstart me gathering the materials, basically these things, and start painting the background, which is teal with splotches of rose gold, to start putting, to inspire me to further put and compile material onto this thing. Now, with that said, I have 5 different words here that are meaningful to me. I did a bit of wordsmithing to make sure that these words were simple, but also broad enough to encompass many different things, but all tied together to evoke something that further inspires me and further reminds me to move forward. And these words are iconic, soul, envoy, reach, and team. Now, what I'm doing here is not typical for a manifestation vision board. The challenge with exposing this manifestation board to everybody is typically that in metaphysical esoteric circles or positive manifestation approach is that people are concerned that the evil eye or anyone with maligned kind of negative sentiment would damage the ability for these things to manifest. However, I am compelled to share this with you to show you where my mind is at, where my heart is at, and ultimately it is not to challenge naysayers or those with negative sentiment or envy sentiment to me to really damage my journey. It's more so that I am trying to evoke an inspiration for others to really find a similar piece to anchor themselves with. To me, this is an anchoring practice. I am anchoring these elements to remind myself of who I am, my dharma, the thing that I'm needing to do in this life. And so, with that said, I'm going to guide you through this board to showcase some of the thoughts that come to me and what I want to manifest further in my journey, aside from things that have already been manifested. So hopefully this is an inspiration, and let's get started. So, let's start with the right. First word is envoy. I have words and quotes here that help align what this means. And the overall idea of this section, aside from being a civil servant in terms of challenging those who are being passive or not really being proactive about resolving the injustices in the world, the other aspect of this is to be able to work with various world leaders, influential people, whether that's politician, whether that's music artists, whether that's social media influencers, anything and anyone that has an influence over people and serves as role models, being able to be a part of a panel. I'm not fond of being the soapbox speaker. I don't want to If I had a choice, I would not choose to speak to a whole bunch of people on my own. I prefer to be a part of a shared table. I love watching round tables of people sharing thoughts and experiences. I love doing that with friends, and I would love to do that with people all over the world. And that's what envoy is for. It's like a diplomat. It's someone that is representing something, and sharing thoughts and sentiment. And altogether, I do believe in systems thinking, and systems are not going to operate on their own. They require a global cooperative, and that's something I want to carry forward in my future. Yes, that includes the United Nations. That includes the think tanks like Club of Rome. And so, aside from that, in connection, it's reach. And if you've noticed, you'll see a number of nations, or at least the cities of individual nations, major cities around the world. And this doesn't mean that I'm trying to reach out to every single one of those cities, but they are to inspire me, to broaden my horizon, to really inspire kids, people of various demographics, whether they're, like local neighborhood people, or, the working class, or high level executive professionals, whatever the case is. I don't want to limit it to like one target demographic. I want it to be able to inspire so many people. This approach of accountability, of thinking in systems, that things are not so much just about thinking in systems within ecology, that it can also affect relationships amongst people, various different things. From there, I can't do that on my own, so I need a team. Any meaningful pursuit requires a team. And I don't want all these people around me to just, serve me, or, try to like lift me up. I want them to also be leaders in their own right. I want them to be able to also equally inspire and lead as much as I am. And if anything, being iconic is a meaningful pursuit of mine. It doesn't mean that I need to be the superstar. It just means that, like when I'm building a team, I want my teammates to also be in their own right iconic. And so they're also impactful, they're masters of their own industry, or they're influential within their own, particular sectors. And iconic also ties in with envoy, and team, and reach. All of these are actually very synergistic. And that's something that I desire. One of the words that I was initially thinking of doing was blend. But blend itself was kind of vague, because in the end, all of these things would eventually blend together. And so this brings me to, from iconic to soul. This is me. This is what I personally desire for myself. Aside from being giving, aside from helping so many others out, it's aside from being a different angle of wisdom. I want this for myself, that no matter what I do externally, in the end, I want to at least be happy with myself. Aside from, I don't know, I'm not, I wouldn't say that I strive for glory. Maybe in my younger years, I wanted to be a part of the spotlight, but then once I got exposed to the spotlight for a bit, as fun as it is, it can get exhausting. And so having a partner, even wealth is okay, but I didn't emphasize wealth like some people may try to express in their manifestation board. To me, anything meaningful will create its own wealth, whether to grow me, my team, my endeavors. Wealth can take so many different forms beyond just finances, aside from money. And that's something that I really need to, I don't need to reaffirm it, but it's something that I normally exercise, is that there is more to life than just the money that I save. There is more than the clothes that I wear. Sure, it's nice to, be a dapper individual, like this picture of these gentlemen at what is it, the convention, the gathering over in Italy, Pitti Uomo. And, it's inspiring to me to have all these elements together. It doesn't mean I'll achieve all of it, What matters is that I give myself enough inspiration to reach for the stars. And even if I don't reach the star that I'm targeting, I'm pretty sure that with enough focus and dedication and inspiration, I can get pretty close. And that's the ultimate point of things like a manifestation board of this caliber. You use it to inspire you to move forward. And it doesn't mean that you have to do everything to the 100. The universe has to meet you the other way. You can't force certain outcomes. The universe has to grant it to you. That's why, as much as there can be hard work, it's still a roll of the dice whether the universe will meet you the other half of the way. And so I don't put my full confidence and faith in the positivity movement so much as I recognize the dynamics of the universe and I'm open to whatever it has for me. And all that matters at this point is that I remind myself of my own worth, my own desires, and on my own see it through. I guess I also have to be humble enough to ask for help because I can't do all this on my own. That's why I put team on here, because it's also a big reminder that if I'm supposed to gain all this reach, be an envoy, be iconic, and give myself a quality to my soul, I have to do it as a team. So in that regard, hopefully this has been an inspiration for you to do your own affirmation, vision board, manifestation board. It doesn't have to be this complicated. Ideally, it has to be simple enough for you to remind yourself of what you need to do. And everyone will do things differently. For me, this is what works for me. With that said, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.
I'm very grateful that you've come this far in the video, and if there's one last thing I'd like to ask of you is to hit that like button, and if you'd like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later.